By the end of this tutorial, you will know how to navigate the entire contract award process without exposing your project to major legal and financial risk. Most procurement tutorials skip straight from tendering to signing the contract. But doing that leaves a massive compliance blind spot right at the end of your evaluation phase. Next, we're going step by step through each contract award phase and the complete work process flowchart. Watch until the very end to see how you can download the free work process guide and the slide deck PDFs.
1. Scope and key players. 2. Phase 1 award notification. 3. Phase 2 contract finalization. 4. Phase 3 execution closeout. And finally, 5. The complete process flow.
All right, Section 1, Scope and Key Players, setting the stage.
Our big theme for this journey is standardizing the contracting and procurement closeout lifecycle. Now, you might be wondering, why does standardization even matter at this stage? Well, because a unified approach saves an absolute ton of time. It plugs critical legal loopholes, and for sure, it ensures nothing falls through the cracks at the 11th hour. It's super important to define what is strictly in scope for us today. We are looking exclusively at the actual contract award process, issuing notices, executing the contract, distribution, and notifying unsuccessful tenderers. We're intentionally leaving out the pre-award phase, like tender solicitation or bid evaluation, and we're skipping the post-award day-to-day administration. We are hyper-focused on one thing, the closeout. To pull this off properly, you can't go it alone. You need the right team in place. Our core contracting cast features 5 really distinct roles: contracting and procurement, the approving authority, the contractor, the internal reviewer, and the contract custodian. Let's actually break down what they do. Think of contracting and procurement, or C&P, as the driver. They own the process, finalize the documents, and steer the whole vehicle. Then you've got the gatekeeper, the approving authority, who gives the green light to proceed. Our partner is the contractor. They're the ones acknowledging terms and actually signing the deal. Working behind the scenes, we have the validator. These are your internal, legal, technical, or commercial experts doing the crucial checks. And finally, the archivist, the contract custodian, who files the signed document and keeps the official record safe. So what are all these characters actually handling? Well, here is the entire document ecosystem mapped out. It all starts with the approved award recommendation. That's your authority to move forward. Then comes the notice, either an LOA or an LOI, followed by the letter of acceptance. If there are unresolved issues, we get an updated final tender. The whole shebang culminates in the final agreement and appendices, tracked by a contract distribution note, and it officially closes out with regret letters for the folks who didn't win the bid. The real trick is how we organize these players and documents. We use a 3-phase architecture to make sure this process never gets derailed. Phase 1 is award notification, getting the notice out and securing that contractor acceptance. Phase 2 is contract finalization, assembling everything and making sure it passes our quality gates. And Phase 3 is execution and closeout, which is the actual signing and handover.
Moving into Section 2, Phase 1, Award Notification.
Let's trace how this flows. We get our input. The approved award recommendation comes in. Now, C&P faces a major decision right at step 1. Do we prep a letter of award, the LOA, or a letter of intent, the LOI? This is a fork in the road because the path we choose completely dictates what happens next in step 2, where we get the letter of acceptance, and step 3, where we hammer out any lingering issues from the award stage.
Let's distill that core difference. Keep it really simple. A direct letter of award, or LOA, means you are ready to rock. All the material matters are totally resolved. An optional letter of intent, the LOI, well, that means you intend to award the contract, but there are still some outstanding issues that need to be negotiated before a final agreement can be struck. This diagnostic matrix takes literally all the guesswork out of the equation. If your prerequisite is that all material matters are resolved, your primary intent is to confirm full award immediately, so you issue an LOA. And the contractor's required output? Just a standard letter of acceptance. Easy. But if outstanding issues remain, you issue an LOI. Your intent is pending the finalization of those matters. And crucially, the required contractor output shifts. They now have to go and prepare an updated final tender. Let's see what happens when we take what I call the LOI detour. If the LOI route is triggered, we hit step 3A. The contractor must go back and prepare that updated final tender to resolve those outstanding issues with C&P. Once they do, that newly updated document feeds right back into our main pipeline, and we can proceed safely as step 4.
All right, Section 3, Phase 2, Contract Finalization.
At step 4, CNP basically acts as the master compiler, stacking all these inputs into a single cohesive draft contract. Think of it like building a sandwich. At the bottom, you have the draft agreement with base terms and conditions. On top of that, you layer the appendices, then the technical and scope information. And finally, if you took that LOI detour we just talked about, the updated final tender goes right on top. It all gets bound together into the finalized draft contract.
But hold on, we don't just send that draft straight to signature. No way. We put it through the double lock quality gates. Step 5 is an internal check by our legal, technical, or commercial validators. If they spot an issue, it loops down to Step 5A for a quick modification. Once it passes that internal lock, it moves to Step 7, contractor confirmation. If the contractor flags something, it loops to 7A to adjust. Only when both the internal team and the contractor give a big thumbs up do those gates open up, allowing us to hit the signature phase.
On to Section 4, Phase 3, Execution Closeout. Okay, Step 8. We take that agreed final contract and figure out the logistics for execution. Depending on the context, CNP chooses one of 2 branches. Branch A is organizing a formal signing ceremony. Branch B is transmitting the document for a sequential signature. These execution pathways cater to real-world operations. In a signing ceremony, logistics are handled as one unified event. Both parties are at the table signing together. In a sequential signature, it's more of a back-and-forth thing. One party signs, sends it over, the other signs, and returns it. But honestly, regardless of the logistics, notice how they converge at the end. Both paths happily result in a fully executed original that's ready to go. And getting it where it needs to go is exactly what happens in these final steps. In Step 10, the custodian takes that signed contract along with a contract distribution note and officially files and distributes it. Step 11 is the handover, literally handing the executed contract over to the contract owner so they can actually get to work and manage it. Finally, Step 12 ties a bow on it. CNP issues regret letters to the unsuccessful tenderers, and boom, the process is officially closed.
Finally, Section 5, the complete process flow.
All right, here is the big picture. This is the entire ecosystem working in harmony. Notice how our cast of characters, the approving authority, CNP, the contractor, and the custodian, form these distinct swim lanes of responsibility. You can trace the journey perfectly, top left to bottom right. The approving authority starts us off. CNP handles the LOA or LOI. The contractor drops into their lane to provide the updated final tender if we need it. Then we cruise into the center, passing through those double-lock quality gates before hitting the execution pathways. Ultimately, it flows down to the custodian for filing, while CNP wraps up the regret letters. It's a seamless chronological map. Everyone knows exactly what to do and exactly when to do it. By following this map, the process is totally complete. We've established a highly consistent, controlled, and auditable approach to closing the contracting cycle. The foundation for successful contract performance is now solidly set in stone. So, I want to leave you with this question to chew on. Are your contract closeouts a standardized journey, or are they a bureaucratic maze just waiting to be simplified? By leveraging the clear phases, the defined roles, and the quality dates we've explored in this explainer, you can eliminate the chaos and close out your contracts with absolute confidence. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
Download the free PDF work process guideline and flowchart from our website. See the link in the description. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and see you next time.